Welcome to GDs. And this is Slow Horses, Season 1. Season starts in an airport in London, where MI5 agent River Cartwright is searching for a potential threat, based on intelligence report provided to him. He is able to spot a potential suspect, and he apprehends him moments before he could board the flight. It is when he realizes that the person whom he apprehended is not the one they were looking for, as he messed up the suspect's description. Diana Taverner, the deputy director of MI5, also known as the second desk, tells Cartwright to stand down, as she tasks other agents to go for the potential suspect. Cartwright ignores the order and runs through the airport in order to apprehend the target, and in the process, he also knocks out an officer. But despite reaching the target, he was not able to stop him in time. Few months later, we see a rundown MI5 facility called Slough House, which is a dumping ground for MI5 agents who messed up on the job. Thus the name Slough House, signifying slow horses. Slough House currently has Roddy Ho, an obnoxious but brilliant computer nerd. Jed Moody, an ex-member of the Enforcement and Tactical Unit of MI5. Louisa Guy, assigned after a tail operation went badly for her. Min Harper, sent there as he left a top-secret file on a train. Struan Loy, assigned after sending an inappropriate work email. And finally, we have River Cartwright, who is there because of the airport fiasco. The facility is headed by Jackson Lamb, an old legendary agent, who has chosen to be in Slough House, so he could spend his remaining time in MI5 peacefully, with Catherine Standish as his assistant, who is the one who is keeping the place running. Lamb assigns Cartwright the task of regularly reviewing the discarded materials of Robert Hobden, who is a far-right journalist, while the last member of the Slough House, a competent agent Sid Baker, surveils Hobden at a cafe. She is able to distract him, and copies the contents from his pen drive. She later gives what she found to Lamb. Lamb instructs Cartwright to deliver the same to Regent Park, MI5's main office. Cartwright, learning that Regent Park asked them to surveil Hobden, wants to investigate further, but Lamb shuts him down, telling him that he should have been kicked out, as his incompetence caused many to lose their life, and it was only because of his last name that he wasn't kicked out. We then learn that Cartwright's grandfather was one of MI5's top agent. Cartwright tells Lamb that no one lost their life, as it was just a training exercise, but nevertheless, he goes to Regent Park to deliver the laptop on which Sid copied the files. But before delivering the laptop, he copies the file for himself. At the park, we see him giving the details to James Webb. He was also demoted after the airport fiasco. With Webb making fun of Cartwright for being sent to Slough House, Cartwright gives it back to him, accusing him of deliberately giving him the wrong description of the suspect, which caused the airport fiasco. On the other hand, we see Hobden calling someone in an attempt to inform them about an imminent attack, but the person doesn't seem to believe him. While at a bar, a young student and a comedian, along with his friend Hassan Ahmed, arrives to showcase his talent. Hassan enjoys his friend's performance, however, after the show, we see Hassan being kidnapped by masked men. Meanwhile, Cartwright visits his grandfather. His grandfather tells him to stay clear of Hobden, since he believes that if the park is using Slough House for surveillance, it will be because they want to keep their distance from him, and thus he should be cautious. The next day, despite his grandfather's advice, Cartwright asks Roddy to assist him in accessing the files he copied, but the files had no relevant information. It is when we see a live broadcast featuring a group of right-wing nationalists, known as the Sons of Albion, and they are the ones who kidnapped Hassan. They inform the public that they will be executing Hassan the next day. With the video of Hassan being out, the park under Taverner starts to investigate. We later see Taverner meeting Moody discreetly. Moody tells her that he knows Lamb was looking into Hobden for her. In addition, he also knows Lamb's exit plans, as he has bugged his office. Learning the same, Taverner tells him to get rid of the bug, and asks him to work for her discreetly, as then she will assist him in getting out of the Slough House. Cartwright, on the other hand, goes to see Webb again, wanting to know if he found anything on the pen drive he gave him, despite Webb not giving him anything. Cartwright, with Webb's expressions, was able to figure out that he found nothing. He then returns back to the office, and asks Roddy to hack Hobden's email, but Roddy informs him that he has no presence online, and a man with so much paranoia must have a way to destroy his hard drive. Knowing the same, Cartwright examines Hobden's trash again, and finds chemicals that can burn and destroy a hard drive. Learning the same, he decides to surveil Hobden. Cartwright sees Hobden trying to reach any news agency that might listen to him, but he fails, and as he leaves the cafe, Cartwright follows him. Later that night, we see Harper and Guy accidentally meeting at a bar, and they both learn that they have no personal life. After drinking together for some time, they decided to head back to Slough House. While on the other hand, we see Cartwright sitting outside Hobden's house. Sid joins him as he surveils Hobden. Sid, forming a bond with him, tells him that she is in Slough House just to keep an eye on him, as the second desk Diana Taverner asked her to do so. But before Cartwright could comprehend what was happening, they see someone breaking into Hobden's house. Seeing the same, they decide to go in. Cartwright was able to rescue Hobden from the attacker, but the assailant overpowers him, and as he fled, he shoots Sid in the head. Cartwright calls for an ambulance, and we later see him being locked in a room in the hospital. Meanwhile, at the Slough House, Harper and Guy, having fun, realize that they are not alone, and as they look, they are attacked by the same masked man who shot Sid. Harper, trying to take him down, accidentally falls from the stairs with the masked men, which results in the masked men breaking his neck. At the hospital, Lamb breaks out Cartwright and tells him that Sid is still in surgery, and they need to leave before more security reaches there. As they get back to Slough House, they find a dead body, and Lamb learns what happened. It is then revealed that the man who died was Moody. Lamb, searching him, finds his stash money, a bug, and a phone, with only one number dialed. As Lamb calls the number, Taverner answers the call, and hearing her, he tells her that they need to talk. On the other hand, we get to see the kidnappers. Where one of their member Curly was concerned about Hassan, but their leader Mo mocks him for the same. Curly is then seen accessing a phone he hid. Later, Lamb meets with Taverner and tells her about Moody. He also informs her that he figured out that the kidnapping of Hassan is a false flag operation, and she needs to end it now. Taverner, knowing Lamb figured it out, tells him that she planned for everything, even the target they chose, as he has links to Pakistani intelligence, and once they will save him, they might get more support from them. In addition, it will also allow them to go after all the right-wing groups, and they will be able to keep a right-wing leader, Peter Judd, in check. Lamb, hearing everything, tells her that this might still go wrong, as she is dealing with fanatics. Taverner then informs him that she has an inside man who will secure Hassan before they move. She then asks him to knock on the door where they are keeping him, as this will be a signal to his asset to secure Hassan. Lamb refuses to help her out, but Taverner forces him to do so by threatening to tell his assistant Standish details about her late husband Charles. Lamb, not wanting the secrets to be revealed, agrees to help her out. On the other hand, a spooked Hobden goes to meet Peter Judd, a right-wing leader, who has been avoiding him since the morning. With Hobden reaching his house, Judd finally had to meet him. Hobden tells him that he knows that the kidnapping of Hassan is a false flag operation, and the MI5 are doing so to discredit him, and all the right-wing organizations. Judd refuses to know anything about the kidnapping, and instructs him to leave. But Hobden kept on insisting that he should try to get in touch with the Sons of Albion, and warn them. Judd, being annoyed by him, makes him leave by punching him, and letting him know that he is not involved. At the kidnapper's safe house, Curly tests Mo by playing with the idea of beheading Hassan early, but as Mo pushes back, Curly chops off his head. As Lamb along with others reaches the safe house, it was unlocked, and they find Mo's body. Knowing what it means, Lamb tells his people to gather the remaining members of the Slough House and meet at Blake's grave. As Taverner's team reached there, they inform her about what they found, and she realizes that her operation backfired. Ingrid Tierney, first desk of MI5, learning about the disaster, tells Taverner that before she reaches back, she should contain the situation. Tierney also suggests to her that in order to protect their reputation, she should throw Slough House under the bus. Taverner tells her team that the kidnapping was a false flag operation, planned by the Slough House, and they should bring all their members in. It is when we learn that the man killed Mo was actually an MI5 agent Alan Black, and he was in Slough House for some time. Cartwright was able to get to Roddy before the agents, but Guy and Harper were late in reaching Struan Loy, and he was picked up by the agents. Lamb went to get Standish, but before they could leave, they were apprehended. Standish, despite receiving a message from Taverner about a secret that Lamb was hiding, decided to side with Lamb, and she pulls a gun on the agents taking them. As a result, they were able to get away. As they regroup, Cartwright remembers that he saw Mo aka Alan Black meeting with Taverner during his training exercise when he was surveilling her, and he can prove that, as he took surveillance photos. He now also believes that this is why Taverner used Webb to provide him false information in the training exercise, as she wanted him to fail. In addition, this is why she tasked Sid to keep an eye on him. As Lamb goes with Cartwright to get the photos, he tells the rest of his team to lay low. On the other hand, Curly informs the remaining 2 members of the crew that he received a call from Judd, and he informed him about this being a setup, and he told them to walk away. But he decided not to do so. Curly's co-conspirators wanted to let Hassan go and leave the country via a boat. As they pushed back and forth with the idea, Curly, wanting to do what they set out to do, shoots and kills one of the kidnappers, as he was adamant on wanting to let Hassan go. In addition, his execution forced the other into compliance as well. Back at the park, Taverner, interrogating Loy, was able to make him understand that his only way out of the mess is to tell them that he saw Lamb with Mo, aka Agent Black. Loy, knowing it to be his only way out, rolls over, and he tells Taverner that he saw Lamb talking with Agent Black a few months ago, despite it not being so. Lamb, on the other hand, reaches the park and gives himself up. As Taverner interrogates him, Lamb tells her that there is a bomb in his car. As a team goes to check on the same, Cartwright uses the opportunity to get into the building and is able to get the photo he took from Webb's office. Cartwright makes it to Taverner's office, where, being presented with the evidence, Taverner backs off Slough House and puts the entire blame of the operation on a disgruntled ex-agent, Agent Black. Lamb tells her that now she should focus on saving Hassan, and gives her a lead about Hobden visiting Judd. Meanwhile, Standish and Roddy, using their skills, were able to identify and hack the vehicle's location, in which the kidnappers are traveling. Taverner goes to see Judd and pushes him, and he finally reveals about the call he made. With Lamb's team and Judd's information, they knew the port where Curly is heading. Having the information, they get into action, with Taverner sending her team at the port, while the Slough House drives to reach there. But Curly took a detour and stopped in the woods in order to execute Hassan. His partner, not wanting to do so, ditches him and runs away towards the port. Ingrid Tierney, reaching back, tells Taverner that their involvement cannot get out. Thus, as the van reaches the port, the lone kidnapper is taken out, despite being unarmed. Lamb and Cartwright learn that there was a lone kidnapper on the port. It is when Roddy informs them that the car they have been tracking stopped in the woods for some time. Knowing the same, they head toward the location, along with Guy and Harper. Curly, wanting to kill Hassan live on TV, sets up the camera. But before he could kill Hassan, Cartwright reaches there, and they were able to stop him. MI5 agents, under orders from Taverner, tried to take out Curly, but with 3 agents on the ground covering Curly, she had to stand down. With things settling down, Cartwright learns from Robbie that all of Sid's records are gone, and with her not being in the hospital, there is a possibility that she might still be alive. Taverner, honoring her deal, gives Lamb the file on Charles, and informs him that they were able to keep things in wrap. Standish, on the other hand, forces Lamb to tell her what Taverner knew about Charles. Lamb finally tells her that Charles, being the Director General of MI5, was quite spooked, and despite knowing the same, it was him who gave him the gun, from which he ultimately ended his life. And as the season ends, we see in a flashback that Charles didn't kill himself, and it was indeed Lamb who killed him, and made it look like a suicide, with David Cartwright, Rivers Cartwright's grandfather, knowing about the same. Thanks for watching. And if you liked it, please subscribe.